Hey guys, and welcome to a special edition of the War Lounge. This one is going to be audio only, so we are doing the traditional podcast style for this one. This is our E3 reaction to the Microsoft E3 briefing 2017. Now, Kobe couldn't be here with me today, and he couldn't watch the briefing, so I have the one, the only, Brandon Potts of RUL here with me. Potts, what's going on, dude?
Oh boy, that was a conference.
What a conference,
that
right?
Was a conference.
Right?
Oh goodness.
So for those of you guys at home, I do what I usually do at these conferences, and I handwrote notes, and I have 4 pages worth of handwritten notes here to go over. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down my page of notes, and we are going to basically one by one, I'm going to go through items, and then either I will stop or Potts will stop me if we have something to say about that topic. So let's just get right into it. So the first thing I have down, the first couple things are things that I had questions on before the conference actually started. The first one obviously being the name. We have to talk about this one. Potts, what do you think about the name Xbox One X?
A lot of X's. There's a lot of. It makes sense. You have the 1S now and the 1X, and clearly, like, the X is a step above. I would have preferred if they kept Scorpio, though. Yeah, Scorpio's a cool name.
I like Scorpio, and the only thing that trips me up is X sounds way too much like S. So that just, like, alliteration there kind of bothers me a little bit. I wish it would have been, like, a more standout name. So, obviously, Xbox One X comes out November 7th. Pretty much a date that, you know, was pretty predictable. A pretty predictable date. I was also looking for the target audience that they were going for the console, just because I knew that a target audience is what's going to make or break this console, and it seems like the target audience that they're going for is either an already Xbox gamer who wants an enhanced experience that they already know and love, or a PC gamer that wants to get into console gaming but can't do without, like, their high-end 4K quality content. From what I saw, they did nothing to kind of attract an outside audience, nothing to convert PlayStation gamers into buying their first Xbox. It was almost like a double. I almost saw it as like a double message. It was like, if you're in with Microsoft, then this is something that's going to enhance the experience you already love. If you're not in with Microsoft, we really don't offer you anything new, and you should kind of stay where you already are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of what I got out of it.
I see where you're coming from with the whole, like, the PC audience hopping on a console, but I feel like that makes way more sense for, like, the PlayStation 4 Pro when a lot of the Microsoft Studios titles are on PC now. Like, I don't know if I see a PC player sort of jumping to a console just because, you know, it looks prettier.
I mean, basically what I got out of it was console gamers that aren't Xbox gamers. There's nothing really there to entice them to make that switch. I was hoping for something like that. I was hoping for, like, you know, like the hidden. The secret weapon that nobody knew about that would secretly entice all gamers to get this, rather than just Xbox gamers looking for an enhanced experience. But I didn't see anything of that sort from what we saw today.
I'm not sure if that's... Well, obviously they want everybody to sort of buy this. I definitely agree with you that it seems a lot like the PlayStation 4 Pro. It just an upgrade for people that are already on that platform. But oh god, where was I going with this? I've already lost my train of thought.
It's okay. But
I'll get back to it.
Yeah, I didn't see that big, you know, that big sucker punch that is like, man, I need to get an Xbox for that. But, like,
right.
If you're already an Xbox owner, it's a nice upgrade for the experience you already like.
Yeah, what I was thinking was maybe that's just not for them, because they cut the price of the 1S by another $50.
So that's temporary. So that's for this week. That's for this week. As of right now, it's a weekly price. I think that they will see how it does and then keep it at that price. But as of right now, Microsoft has that as a weekly price.
I can see that definitely, like, going away for maybe a month and then coming back permanently.
I think that'll come back once the One X actually launches at the very minimum. I think that Xbox One S ends up at that price one way or another somehow. Whether it is it's kept after this week or it's when the X launches, then I think it finds its way at that price point.
Yeah.
Sometime soon.
I guess that'll be around Black Friday too, so that makes sense.
Yep. So, I also have, will they do anything with a Kinect? There was nothing with a Kinect there. The system won't come with a Kinect. Kinect is dead. It's confirmed. And then I also had another couple things. Are they going to launch a new controller with it? They're not. The controller's the same model. It looks exactly the same. All your old accessories will work with the system, and games as well. They'll all work with the system. And then, obviously, my biggest question was the price point at $4.99. Not fantastic, but definitely not awful either. You know, kind of just
what
like
I expected.
kind of what I expected. I don't feel like I can defend the price very well, but I don't think that I can hate it that much either, because they could have made this a $5.99 console if they really wanted to. So, I'm not upset. I'm not like overjoyed by it. It is what it is.
It's the ballpark. It's where I expected. I saw a lot of people on like Reddit and all over forums everywhere really hoping it's $3.99, but that I felt like that was just unrealistic.
$3.99 was definitely a stretch. There's no way that you can price an Xbox One X at the same price as a Nintendo Switch. It's just not going to happen. They're two very different systems. The $3.99 was hopeful. Even when he said $4.99 in the conference, a little part of me was disappointed because I wanted to be wrong, even if it was just by like $50, like a $4.49 type deal. So when he said it and it was exactly what I was expecting, I was a little disappointed. But it could have been much worse. So can't be that angry.
It could have been PlayStation 3 $600.
It could have been, yeah. It could have been. That's what I'm saying. You can't be too upset. The actual box itself, the physical box, I'm not impressed. I'm impressed by the size.
Yeah.
I'm not impressed by the actual look.
Yeah, just a smaller black Xbox One S, basically.
Basically. And as of this moment of recording, we're not positive if that power brick is inside of it or not. I want to say I want to say that it is, but it's now that I think about it, getting a power brick in an even smaller console is really hard.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, the more I'm like, well, maybe it's not, but I really want it to be in there.
I feel like they said internal power supply at some point, but that might have been like a long time ago. Things could have changed.
Well, if anybody knows for sure, please in the comments. I'm sure we'll figure out before then. But
yeah. How do they make it smaller? It's insane.
It is insane. It's
like
absolutely, and with so many teraflops.
Oh my god, so many teraflops?
So many teraflops. Okay,
it's crazy.
So I had the physical box. Works with all your accessories. Super small. Coming out of the gate, as always, as is tradition with Xbox, Forza Motorsport 7. Kind of to be expected. Looks great as always. Like
so pretty.
You can't really say anything bad about Forza games. They're really there to show off the technical power of the console, and that's exactly what it does. It looks fantastic. It looks like it plays amazing. The new partnership with Porsche is really cool. But at the end of the day, Forza's Forza, and that's really not a bad thing.
Forza's great, and oh my gosh, it looks so gorgeous.
It looks fantastic, especially with all the weather. The weather looks amazing.
Yeah, the rain and everything, just
yes, that looks fantastic. So the briefing covered 42 games, 22 console exclusives, and they kicked it off with Metro Exodus. I don't know how this was for you, but for me, it was a very underwhelming start. It's just not a game for me. But that was just my just my personal reaction to it was a little underwhelming. I would have liked to see what the next game is actually, which is Assassin's Creed Origins. I would have liked to have seen that first.
Yeah, I have no emotional attachment to the Metro franchise. I didn't play much of those other games. I feel like it was supposed to sort of follow Forza as, look how pretty this is. This looks gorgeous. Look at it. This is what our console can do. But yeah, I don't know if the demo had too much substance. It was there to be a showpiece, and I think it did its job with that.
Yeah, I just like, with not having played the other Metro games that much, I again, it's just like a personal thing. It just didn't do it for me. I'm sure it did it for a lot of other people or people who like Metro. But Assassin's Creed Origins, that was quite a demo. I liked all the gameplay they showed. You can tell what they were showing is really early. It kind of had that, especially when it was in the combat section of the gameplay, you could tell that it was an early build. But overall, the game caught me. Like they already have me as a customer for that game.
Yeah, I'm not super into Assassin's Creed either, but it got me legitimately interested. Like I might pick this up just because the environment looks really interesting. It seems more RPG-y than a lot of what I used. Like I played Assassin's Creed 2 and a couple others like earlier on in the franchise, and it seems like a pretty different. I agree with you, the combat sort of seemed unfinished.
Yeah, it seems a lot more like Assassin's Creed 3 than any of the other ones because that had more RPG-ish elements to it. That's what me and Jude were talking about while we were watching it, that it looks much like that. I personally, Assassin's Creed 3 was my favorite, and it had more of the RPG elements, so it just looks like that game's going in a really good direction for my personal taste for Assassin's Creed. Other than that, being set in Egypt is sweet. Being like the original assassin is a sweet way to take on that environment. I was really impressed with it. It looked really cool.
Yeah, I'm glad they're doing something different. They took that year off, and it's showing.
So then following that was honestly something I really didn't expect to see at E3, and I don't know why I didn't, but it was PlayerUnknown's Battleground coming exclusively to Xbox, and with an Xbox One X update when the game finishes. So we knew it was coming to Xbox eventually. Didn't really expect to see it at E3 for some reason. We saw it, and it's getting an Xbox One X update to perform better on the new hardware. Fun game. I don't know if I'll rebuy it on Xbox, to be perfectly honest. That's something I'm still on the fence about, but fun game. There's really nothing like it on Xbox, so I think it kind of monopolizes that kind of game, which is good for it. But I think it'll do well on Xbox.
Yeah, it seems early. I wasn't expecting to see this like on Game Preview until next year, but wow. Like, and they put so much behind it to actually show it on stage. I guess it's huge right now. It draws a lot of attention.
Yeah, it definitely gets, from the streaming side of it, it definitely gets a lot of attention from streamers. People love watching the game, so it gets a ton of viewers on Twitch and Mixer every day. So yeah, that is coming. After that was Deep Rock Galactic. Wasn't really for me. That was like the Minecraft-esque type of game with more gunplay. State of Decay 2 was after that.
Oh my god.
Didn't play State of Decay 1, but I want to now after seeing that.
Oh, you have to. It's so good.
I want to
Probably
now
my
after
favorite
seeing
zombie
that.
game.
I will definitely have to pick that. Is that a backwards compat game?
I'm not sure. I played it on PC, actually.
Oh, well then I'll just play it on PC. Perfect.
Yeah, it's on Steam.
So that is on my to-do list. After that is something I am personally super excited about. It was a game called The Darwin Project. This was the one with that dude in the yellow jacket that was shoutcasting.
Yeah.
So The Darwin Project seems like an arena-based battle royale game between 5 or 6 players, and it has Mixer interaction in it. So people watching you stream on Mixer can interact in your game while you're playing by giving people shields or giving them weapons or, doing I'm assuming that there would be some negative effects to do as well. So Mixer chats will be able to influence the game they are watching, which is a really cool feature that I think.
Mm-hmm. And battle royale games seem to be pretty common nowadays. It feels like there's one coming out, every few months. So this seems different. Like this
seems different because it's round based. So like you have to win a certain. It looked like you had to win a certain amount of rounds to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm excited for, a round based battle royale game.
Yeah, looking forward to see more of that.
Okay, so then after the Darwin project was actually Minecraft. Minecraft is becoming uniting all the platforms together: VR, PC, Xbox, all that good stuff, mobile,
Switch.
Yeah, and plus
there was a Nintendo Switch during the Microsoft conference.
There was a Nintendo Switch during the Microsoft conference, built in Minecraft. Plus, they're giving it a 4K update. Which I would assume to hear a bigger list of games that are also getting the same treatment. But we'll get into that in a couple minutes because that's coming up on the list.
6 teraflops is a lot, but do we really know that it's going to be enough to run Minecraft at 4K?
No.
Let's back up here.
I think we need a couple more. I think you're going to need to buy another piece of hardware with some extra teraflops in it to plug in and play Minecraft.
Yeah, you basically get 2 Xbox One X's.
Yeah, basically. But the one is like a super small box that you just plug into the back of the Xbox One X to give it some extra teraflops.
Okay, I actually like that idea. Seems neat.
That I've always had that idea of like a module gaming console, but I don't really know what the logistics of that would be. That's just me daydreaming. So after the Minecraft stuff came that new Dragon Ball Z game, the Dragon Ball Z Fighter. Or the Dragon Ball Fighter Z, whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Basic 2D fighter. It looks like Marvel vs. Capcom. It's a 3-person tag team fighting game. Looks cool. Looks like Marvel vs. Capcom, really. I'll be interested to see more in the future. After that was Black Desert coming to Xbox. Are you excited for that?
I played a little bit of it, but I just fell off, got busy and all that.
I'm actually wondering if Xbox is going to enhance the experience of that game. I don't know how playing with a controller would fare versus the keyboard and mouse.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm wondering if Xbox is going to enhance the experience of that game. After that was The Last Night, which looked like an 8-bit adventure story game.
Oh yeah, that looked so pretty.
Interesting.
Wow.
It looked very good visually. But I'm interested to see more of what the story's like and things like that.
Yeah, it's got my attention.
The Artful Escape was a weird one. It was the cartoonish game with the guy with the guitar. It was a lot of platforming. Didn't really get me excited for anything, to be honest.
It just threw me off.
Yeah,
It came out of nowhere.
It kind of messed up the pacing of the briefing for me.
A little bit.
I wish they would have kept going with something stronger, including this next game. I wish they would have kind of left this out too. The Code Vein, which is an anime-esque Dark Souls game. It's not actually a Dark Souls game. It's just that style of gameplay. Not really my type of thing, but I'm sure people who love Dark Souls and whatever that game is that I can never remember the name of that just came out that's like Dark Souls, but you're in mechs and you're on a space base or something and you're fighting other robots. Somebody will tell me the name in the comments.
I have no idea what you're talking about. That sounds awesome.
Dude, no, it's on Steam, dude. I see it on the front page all the time. Somebody will name it. It's basically Dark Souls, but you're in a giant mech, and you fight robots rather than skeletons and monsters and stuff.
Huh.
But that, I really don't have any anticipation for. The next one...
Like Dark Souls and anime girls.
That's basically what it was. It was basically Dark Souls action with, some anime chicks and some anime dude that had, a mask that would, join on his face whenever he was going to fight things. The next one is something we're all excited for, Sea of Thieves, did an extended gameplay look on stage, and it looked fantastic. They showed off things like looting sunken ships, shooting people out of cannons to get them on islands or enemy ships, ship-to-ship battle, going through caves for loot, escaping caves with loot, and that seemed to... Oh, and invading islands while being attacked from the island. I'm more excited for the game. That did nothing negative. That just made me more excited to actually finally try it.
Oh, absolutely. Just more stuff to do that looks really cool.
And then plus they're doing, as we're recording this right after the briefing, they are doing a Sea of Thieves co-stream on Mixer with some of the bigger Mixer partners. That looked really good. After that was Tacoma. Tacoma from the creators of Gone Home, I believe. Gone Home was a great game, so that was one of those games where that was so good that I will at least pay attention to the next thing that studio does. So Tacoma has my attention. I hope it is well placed there. Where was I? Okay, Tacoma. After Tacoma was Super Lucky's Tale. Not really for me.
Okay. So when this came onto the stage and we all saw the tail,
Papa Tran went crazy.
Everybody screamed Conquer. It had to,
oh no, I didn't think that at all.
Oh man, but it's odd. I guess this more cements, Xbox and Oculus partnership, because Lucky's Tale was a launch title for Oculus Rift.
Yep.
I'm glad they're getting, I guess, more family games, more sort of cutesy kid platformers, but it's another game that sort of felt like it threw off the pacing a lot of the show. Just
yeah, it seemed drawn out. Like it didn't need to be that big of a presentation, and for them to do like almost nothing with it. Like they could have just shown the gameplay, had like a quick 15-second animation afterwards, and been off the stage. But they took like a whole like 2 or 3 minute block. It seemed like.
Yeah, for real.
After that came off the stage, we saw Cuphead. They didn't show anything like super brand new for Cuphead, but they showed a release date of September 29th.
Finally coming out.
Finally. Pre-order available as of right now. After that, something I'm super excited for. Terry Crews was in a video to introduce Crackdown. Crackdown will be releasing November 7th with the Xbox One X. I gotta believe that we're all excited for Crackdown finally.
Just Terry Crews out of nowhere.
Terry Crews was great. That was one of my favorite presentations in the whole briefing and of E3 so far, pretty much.
Yeah. I didn't think I could get more excited for Crackdown 3. But
until they threw Terry Crews in there.
Terry Crews. And that was a campaign sort of montage trailer. They did say we'll be getting more multiplayer sort of stuff, more, city destruction later this week. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see more of it as E3 goes on. After that was a game called Ashen, which was okay. Didn't really excite me at all. It looked like a co-op-esque game going through caves, fighting monsters, things like that. But after that was a big hitter in my opinion, which was the trailer for Life is Strange 2, episode 1 of 3. That looks like it's going to be fantastic. If anybody played the original Life is Strange 2 puts you in the perspective of Chloe, and the story is about Chloe and Rachel, so it is a prequel to the original Life is Strange. They also said, not during the briefing, but I did read afterwards that there is going to be a bonus episode for Life is Strange 2 that takes place right before the events of Life is Strange 1, so you will play as Max again.
Sort of bridging the gap. Cool.
Yeah, so that will be as people who want to say like one last farewell to Max, and then the main character will then be Chloe from there on.
Yeah, I didn't play the original Life is Strange, but I messaged Sarah as soon as that was on stage, and she freaked out.
Yeah, Life is Strange is good, dude. It's even worth watching a walkthrough if you can on YouTube. That's how I experienced it. I didn't play it myself, but I watched multiple playthroughs on Twitch and on YouTube. And
Sort of took in the story.
yeah, I basically found a streamer that would be like, all right, we're going to do this episode tonight. And I just sat down and for a few hours and I watched the whole episode, watched them play through the whole episode.
You
And
honestly treated it like a television, like an episode.
exactly.
Of
And that's exactly what I did. And it was completely worth it. I feel like I got 100% of the experience. Like to this day, there's still friends that I talk about that game with. I don't know. I don't have any regrets not buying it, but I enjoyed watching it and finding out like what happened and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like I said, that's gonna be episode 1 of 3, and then to the stage after that was Lord of the Rings: Shadow of War. Featured some new gameplay mechanics such as building armies, attacking fortresses, including pre-planning. So you can now take over generals, and they give you special abilities based on what they do, and then you use that to build an army and attack a fortress. So that's just one new mechanic on top of the old game. Shadow of War looks pretty cool. It looks kind of like a little more of the same game that we knew Shadow of Mordor as, which in my mind isn't an awful thing, but I don't know. I feel like there's maybe room for improvement. And combat looked exactly the same.
Yeah, it's the Batman Arkham combat. I really enjoyed the first one. Yeah, Shadow of Mordor. Yeah, it just looks a lot like the same, just bigger, and yeah, no complaints.
Yeah, I feel like if you liked the first one, you'll like it. Seems like you'll just like this one too. After that was a little bit of a surprise for me was Ori 2. I believe it was called Ori and the Will of the Wisps. You can't say anything bad about Ori. I don't know. I don't know.
The emotional impact that Ori had on me. I teared up watching that teaser. Like, oh my god,
the live music was a good call. Live music was a good call for that.
Oh yeah. Very excited.
All right, so we're coming down to the end here. This one is something I'm really excited for. So that's all the game. That's all but the last game that we're going to talk about. We have one more game to talk about. The next 1, 2, 3. The next 3 items are just outside of game. So first off is Xbox Originals are coming to backwards compatibility. I'm really excited to play some original Xbox games on Xbox One and Xbox One X. It's coming later this year. They don't have a list of games as of right now, but they did mention Crimson Skies. If you played original Xbox and didn't play Crimson Skies, I don't know how you got through the original Xbox era. That game was so much fun. After that was a pretty big announcement. They announced 4K updates coming out for Halo Wars 2, Killer Instinct, Gears of War 4, Forza Horizon 3, and I think I'm missing one game that's also included. So 4K updates are coming out for those games. So if you own them, you will, once Xbox One X comes out, you will receive an update the next time you play that game that allows it to run at 4K fidelity.
Literally the only mention of Halo that entire show.
Literally the only mention of Halo that entire show.
And Gears.
And it's surprisingly, and Gears. You're right. I didn't even think of that. It's surprising because those are their 2 heavy hitters. Those are the 2 everybody expects to see when a new console comes out. Literally 0 mention of them besides games that are already out.
Yeah. Well, they've got Forza, and they're clearly trying to push Crackdown into being like it's another huge pillar for them. So it was kind of refreshing to not see them and see just a ton of waves of new stuff. But yeah, it's weird.
Yeah,
that,
I think if anything, the thing I'm most happy about is the briefing overall, because they definitely learned from last year that they didn't show enough games, and this year they clobbered us with games. Just game after game. Every time that world premiere or Xbox One exclusive screen came up right before they showed a game. Right after a game had just finished, I was just like, yes, give me more, keep going. And then they would do like 8 in a row, and then they would stop, and then they would, do a little thing, and then 8 more, and then stop and do a little thing, and then 8 more, and then they announced the price, and then they kept going. It was insane.
It was a pretty long conference.
It felt like just over 100 minutes.
Nobody really talked during it. It was just game trailers and
no, I want to say out of that 100 minutes, I want to say maybe 15 of it was spent by people talking rather than things being shown.
Yeah,
it was a very small portion of the time was spent away from games. Then after the 4K updates, they announced the $499 price point of Xbox One X, which we already spoke about. Still not upset, still not thrilled, but it is what it is. And then the closer, the big hitter that I really didn't think was going to be such a big hit. Anthem. Anthem looks insane.
Looks really cool.
It looks like everything I wanted from Destiny.
Just want to fly around planets. That's it.
The fact that there was that the person in game suited up, walked to the edge of the hub world, what it looked like was the hub world, met up with a party member, and then just flew into the open world was crazy. No loading screen, no buffer screen in between. They just flew out into the open world. Mm-hmm. And it looked like they could literally go wherever they wanted. And it just blew my mind.
Yeah, when they stepped to the edge, like before they dropped, I looked at them like, oh hey, it's the Destiny Tower. So now they're gonna go to orbit and they'll go to a planet or something. It just drops right off the side.
I was 100% expecting like a cut screen and then like a cut to gameplay afterwards, and that is not what we got at all. They just jumped and went.
Yeah, I wonder how that's gonna work with like multiplayer matchmaking. Like, is there gonna be areas that that cuts off and then people load in or whatever? Or is it like
you mean to do like PvP?
Not necessarily, just like PvE. Like, for example, Destiny, again, you just randomly run into other people in the world. So I wonder if it'll only be like your own party, or if you will have that experience of running into people and exactly how they'll loan in and join you if it's one huge world.
Yeah, that's interesting how they're going to tackle that. If it's going to be more like an MMO or if it's going to be more like a Destiny-esque type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe maybe we have it wrong. Maybe there is no hub world. Maybe it's mostly a single player experience until you gather a party.
Yeah, maybe it's just with co-op. Because we're only really thinking Destiny Division because that's what like rumors and leaks said.
Yeah, and that's all. And that's really the only experiences we have to base off of too.
Mm.
Unless they do something completely new.
UI and combat looks pretty Mass Effect-y.
It's very minimal, which I like.
Yeah.
There's like a little shield. There's a little shield bar. There's a piece at the bottom center that shows you your 3 abilities, and your ammo count in like the middle of the screen, and by your reticle, and that's it.
Just less UI, more room to see that gorgeous world while you're flying around.
That game honestly makes it like after I saw that game, I was like maybe a 4K monitor is worth investing in for this. Like honestly. I just want to play that game at the maximum experience possible.
Yeah.
But
that was sort of their pie in the sky. Like, this isn't coming for. I think it's later next year now. They said.
It just said 2018, so it could be anytime 2018. It didn't say a season. If I had to guess, fall or winter.
That's the other thing. They just showed so many games, but when they showed release dates, it's either later this year, early next year. Like, it wasn't anything like you won't be playing this for, until like 2020. There's just so many games that like, you're going to play this.
Which is why I'm assuming they said nothing about Halo, because I'm thinking at this point, if we're getting a Halo 6 or we're getting an off the main story Halo, like an ODST or something, like a spin-off,
like
we're not going to see it for another couple of years. So why show it now to get it 3 years from now. I mean, I'm assuming that's why we haven't seen anything. I'm assuming the same thing with Gears. We're not going to see Gears for another 3 years probably.
Yeah.
So if they show something next year, timing's kind of on there. So you usually get 2 E3s in before the launch. So maybe we were close to having a Halo and a Gears at this E3, but maybe they just missed the mark for being prepared for it.
They didn't have to pad the runtime with any teaser or anything. There was enough show there.
No, that show was very long and in a very good way too. That
Absolutely.
you know that show was good when it was over 110 minutes, and it felt like it went by in a blink of an eye. I'm very impressed. Very, very big upgrade from last year.
Yeah.
The question is just gonna be, how is, obviously the question on everybody's mind is how is Sony gonna answer this? And there's no doubt in my mind that Sony's gonna come out with some heavy hits themselves, and I'm very excited for Sony's.
Yeah.
Because it always seems like Xbox comes out and it's like, especially last year, it was like, man, they talked about Scorpio. Like, what do you do to beat this? And then Sony just came out with game after game after game after game, and a lot of them looked great. So I'm hoping we get a little bit of the same thing now, and I'm hoping this trend of like game-heavy briefings carries through for years to come. I don't want to go back to like see a couple games and then sit through a speech about how the studio's been working hard and like all this technical stuff they're doing in the game. Like, I don't want to see that in presentations. After I've been spoiled by what we just witnessed, I don't want to see that anymore. I want to see game after game after game.
E3 is a show for video games. Show video games. It's just that simple.
All right, so I guess I'll end with one final question. Did the briefing today convince you to pre-order an Xbox One X?
Well, to be fair, I was gonna pre-order it as soon as possible anyway.
Okay, well that's fine. Did it make you more excited, or were you more? Did it confirm your pre-order more? Did you feel like more confident in your choice to pre-order? Like, yes.
Absolutely. A console's a console, however powerful it is, but if there's no games to play on it, then it's just an empty investment. There's games coming for this that'll look just super, super pretty. I think I'll get my money's worth easily.
Yeah, I think I'm more confident in pre-ordering now. It's funny because usually, if I have to be honest with the Microsoft pressers, I'm usually like, they showed good stuff, but I know that there's hidden good stuff that will come out that they didn't show. So, like, as I have the console, more good things will come out. But now I feel like, man, like, there's a heavy load of things that they showed that I am legitimately interested in and are on my list to get with my Xbox One X.
And see, that I love so much about that conference. They highlighted a lot of indie titles, and you could call that padding the runtime or whatever, but there was so much there that I don't think anybody could watch this conference and be like, there was nothing I was interested in. There was something for absolutely everybody there, and they did a really good job at highlighting really different experiences.
Yeah, they do fantastic with ID.
What a huge library they really have, and just how expansive that is.
Yeah,
genres and everything.
ID at Xbox always kills it. They always have something for everyone at the ID at Xbox section.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you have any final remarks towards the Microsoft briefing?
I think they just forgot to mention Halo 3 Anniversary. It's a little bit weird that
definitely.
Lack of Phil Spencer shirts was definitely a letdown. Was hoping for definitely a few more of those.
All right, I'm sure he's watching, so just let him know. I'll let him know. Okay.
Overall, I'd say a solid 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. Oh Lord. Oh
Listen,
Lord.
Just a few more shirts would have really sealed the deal for me. But
listen, I'll give it an X out of 10.
X out of 10
for that Xbox One X. I really wish they would have called it something that wasn't so close to S. X and S is still gonna bother me.
Yeah, enjoy screwing up what you're talking about for the next 3 years.
Yeah, thanks, Bungie. All right, that is it for our recap of the E3 Microsoft 2017 briefing. If you guys have any comments, please leave them down below. Let us know what you thought of the briefing. What's the thing you're most excited for that they showed in this briefing? Leave it down below. And that is it. I'm, as always, Wardog. Potts is Potts. This was our E3 reaction. Thanks for listening.